If you're a regular watcher of my videos, you'll almost certainly have seen this place before. It's another very poor law, but it produces good quality trout if it produces a trout. I have never found a way to consistently catch trout on it, so I don't know what that means, but there's definitely good numbers of fish in it. They're just almost impossible to catch, you know. Part of the fun, I guess. I haven't been fishing much. The wind this week has been extremely cold. Some places have had snow, and I believe there's a snow warning even for some parts of England, which, when you view the fact that it's the second week of September, I guess is fairly unusual, you know. I mean, the Scottish hills usually get snow maybe the third week in September would be sort of my, you know, my like judgment on it, you know. So the snow wasn't too unusual here, but maybe for other places, you know. So there hasn't been much fishing done because the weather simply hasn't been suitable. I was working at sheep yesterday and other such things, you know. So the wind today has come, just got something in here, so there's pretty, all sorts of weird noises, isn't it? Aye, the wind today has come a bit, still something making a funny noise. The wind today has come a bit southwesterly. It's still cold, so I wouldn't like to say that it's good trout weather, but it's better trout weather than yesterday. So on that basis, I thought, oh, well, I'll come out for a cast, you know. So I've moved along another point. And I put the lock shrimp out just at the end of the wave. I'm giving it a wee twitch just before it sinks, just in case, you know, that might attract something up. Sometimes it does. This time it didn't. Oh, well, big fish just come out of the water there. So I think I need to scuttle over there and cast in that general direction in view of the fact that I've seen a fish. Because the chances of seeing a fish on here are so slim that it's got to make it worth casting at least in its general direction, because it might be the only moving fish at the minute. So let's move over there, eh? Give that a try. Not super hopeful, but who knows? So I don't know if that big splash was within casting range, but you can appreciate, because I think the fish move about anyhow, or tour around, it really probably doesn't matter so much, you know. Looks like a more stable thing to stand on there. I'll move out onto this stone. This stone looks like, oh no, it's not. Very wibbly. Here, if I stand here, get a bit of a grip on it. So I would say that cast there is about where I saw the fish move. As explained, I have no confidence that it's still in that position. So maybe I should fish around in the general area. Right, well, I think fairly thoroughly covered the area where that fish jumped. I don't know what it did, I didn't see it. All I saw was the big splash, you know. I heard the big splash and it attracted my attention to the ripples, really. But I think we've reached the part of the day where we'll have some lunch. And I can always give this another cast if the urge comes upon us later. But I suspect that fish is now another 50 or 100 yards further down the bank, working its way along, trying to see if it can catch one of those wee minnows or sticklebacks or whatever it is that's in here. You see, on a sunny day it's easy to see them. You know, I'm not seeing them today because they're so camouflaged, but on a sunny day you see them flitting about in here, you know. So, lunchtime. So I've had my lunch. I'm going to sit here and have my cup of tea. And she who must be bed very kindly baked me the big bun. And the big bun's extremely tasty. Most efficacious as well, you know. Contains lots of nutrients and vitamins. So very important that I get my big bun into me, you know. Otherwise you never know what happens. Well, I think fishing this morning has been very successful in that I saw a fish. I've only fished for probably 10 minutes in total, and I saw a fish. Now, I haven't seen any more while I was having my lunch, but I didn't really get over here to lunchtime because I didn't leave the house early because it was so cold, you know. And I thought, well, if I leave it a wee bit longer, maybe the conditions will settle a wee bit better and get a wee bit warmer. And it does. It feels like not Baltic, but in saying that, there's not much wind at the minute either. So, in a minute or two I'll go back to the fishing, see if I can't get something. Well, if I do get something, I think I'll be taking it home for my dinner. You know, the fish out of this loch are really tasty. They're fantastic eating, they really are. I know we're lucky to have lots of really good quality trout from good quality lochs that, you know, never see human interference basically. But the fish out of here I think are particularly tasty for some reason. No idea why, but I just think they are. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we get one, but like, don't hold out too much hope. That would be my advice. Well, I don't know what has just happened, in that I decided to move along a bit, and while I was thinking about that, I decided, oh, I'll change the flies. So I bent down to change the flies, and all of a sudden the temperature has dropped about 10 degrees. It has gone really, really cold and miserable, just in the length of time that it took me to change the flies. I mean, literally. So I'm not too keen on that, though the wind has come up a wee bit again, I think, which obviously is a positive thing. But I'm not so keen on the Arctic temperatures, you know. So I changed the flies. A Digby's Demon on the point, and some sort of blue liggy thingy me jiggy on the top. I don't know what it is really. It's a thing, you know. Just because I had been on mostly reddish flies so far, I thought I would try a few different colours. You know, as you will understand, I'm somewhat skeptical that actually I'm even covering a fish when I fish here, because of my theory that they tour around, based on observation, obviously. So I suspect that chopping and changing the flies when there aren't actually any fish seeing your flies doesn't make a huge difference, you know. So I've moved a bit further along again. I think I'm going to go, I left the bag back a wee bit, not very far, just back against the big rock. And I think I might go and get it and have a cup of tea and a banana, you know. See if that encourages the fish. I mean, I don't know if fish are sensitive to such things, but you never know. Oh, there's big daddy longlegs just crashed into the water. And one thing I don't have with me today is any daddy longlegs, so that will not be an option for us. Well, I stopped for tea and a banana. It's good, you know, because the fishing isn't going very well, not very successful. Kind of predictable on here really, but I'll give it another wee while and then it'll soon be time to call it quits, I guess. I haven't fished really for a very long time because I didn't get here at lunchtime, and it's probably only 3 o'clock now. And when you subtract lunchtime from that, it doesn't leave much fishing time. But nonetheless, I'm enjoying myself. Sitting on my wee tarp here because it was Sphagnum capillifolium on top of this rock, amazingly. And of course it's going to be wet, and it was Pete Knisley who got me this tarp, and it has seen good use. It has been used as a footprint under my tent quite a few times, and I use it for sitting on if I'm going to get wet. What's not to like about that, eh? Pete Knisley knows about these things, you know. I don't know. Like I say, I'm going to have a few more casts, but it's not looking very promising, you know. And saying that, this loch, the fish are so hard to get, so rare in it, that you don't, you know, some lochs you go to and it's fishing well and you get 3 or 4 or something, and you know, oh, it's going well, you know, I've had 3 or 4 in an hour or something like that. But here you don't get that. If you pick up one in the day, it's amazing, and it just comes out of the blue. It's just like wham, all of a sudden the fish, and then usually, oh, it's dropped off again because very hard to keep the fish on in here. They tend to run towards you and jump and do all sorts of crazy things. Really interesting, you know. And it's a nice loch to fish, and it doesn't get really a huge amount of fishing, you know, for the quality of fish that's in it. I imagine a float tube or a boat would give you an advantage because you could cover a lot more water, and maybe even if the fish are moving around, it increases your chances of bumping into them, you know. Plus you could fish off all the wee islands, so that might be a good thing, you know. But sure, isn't it nice to be out? You can't beat it, yeah. So, I'll have my cup of tea, and then I may go a bit further along here. It's kind of tricky, the bank gets very high here and steep down into the water, so if you hooked something, actually netting it would be a bit of a problem because there's nowhere, well, you would have to walk it round, either back to here or round further, you know. But we'll see, we'll have a wee contemplate at that as well. So back here, just final few casts off this point for no particular reason other than it's basically on my way back to the car almost. So I'll just give it a quick few casts and then call it done for the day. The catching has been pretty much as I expected. I've got to say, the fact that the conditions have gone so cold so fast this year is a bit of an annoyance or a nuisance, just because, you know, it doesn't do the trout fishing any favours. But oh, you get years like that. But this loch's super difficult to get fish out of, really. Amazingly difficult to get fish out of. But they are cracking fish, so it's always worth a cast, you know. Plus I like it, I think it's a nice loch to fish. And I find it interesting trying to work out what happens in terms of where the fish go, what they do, why you can't catch them, you know, because they're here. I mean, there's no question about it. Some of my previous videos, I'm starting to take videos down because there were loads of videos up there, like 120, and I think I have it down to about 50 now, just to make it less of a hassle, you know. So the videos here may not still be up there, I don't know, I can't remember which ones I took down. But yeah, I've had decent fish out of here. And I've had, you know, reasonable sport out of them as well. But I don't think you ever get a day here when you would like get into the fish, you know. You might pick one up, but you don't ever crack it or get into them, you know. And that's, well, it makes it difficult, but I suppose it adds to the interest as well, you know.